I want to address an issue that is hot in the press right now, and that is a scrabble between President Macron and First Lady Brigitte of France. A viral clip has gone around the internet showing President Macron shoving or pushing President Macron in his face before they disembark a plane. While I do not necessarily want to get into the detail of it, the first thing I want to say is that all relationships at some point in time or the other go through a little bit of a scrabble. Now, this is very distinct and different from domestic violence. Domestic violence is a sustained, intentional, premeditated way that some people, men and women, use to control, intimidate, and invalidate their spouse. And that is totally different to getting into an argument, a little jostle, a little fight, which I think happened with the president and his wife. Now, what do you do? What do you do if your spouse sometimes lay hands on you? It should be clear from the beginning that we do not lay hands on each other. Except it's in a jovial way. I think the president put it off like they're horsing around, and that is in place. It's a good thing to have, play fights. But most people don't think it was anything like play fighting, play wrestling, horsing around, the term that was used. Because it was clear that he was a bit shocked and surprised when he recognized that it was on public display. He gave a little bit of awkward wave, came out of the plane, tried to calm the situation and put his hand out, and she clearly dismissed him. What do you do? Well, the first thing that we need to recognize is that all families do have this kind of issue at one point in time or the other. Even presidents, royalties, pastors actually have times when things get frustrating, you have a go at each other, and sometimes there is a little bit of a jostle. Now, the important thing, some people will tell you that you put boundaries in place, and I'm all for that. You sit and talk it out, I'm all for that. You try and, if possible, get third-party intervention. If that doesn't work, I'm all for that. But what is most important, and here is where I differ with many of the people who are making commentaries on that. Everything that happened there is an indication, a signal of underlying frustration. And what we need to do is to approach this with curiosity. What is the frustration that is lying under the surface, simmering under the surface, that would cause Brigitte, or the First Lady, to put her hands on him like that? There is something there that she's not satisfied with. There is something there that she's resentful about. There's something there that is causing bitterness and even anger, that is boiling over in her speaking to him in a disrespectful way, and even getting to the point where she is shoving him. And if we look at it from a curious perspective, then what we need to do is to address the underlying need. So I usually tell people, behind every action, behind every frustrating word or words or curses or arguments and invalidation and insults, behind that is all our emotions. And behind the emotions are thoughts, the way the person is thinking. And behind the thought is a need. And if we can address the need, all of that would melt. All of the reaction, all of the argument, all of the jostling, all of the frustration would disappear, and harmony would come back again. Reconnection. It is clear that the couple, the president and the First Lady, are disconnected. First of all, she is pushing him away. Secondly, when he came out of the plane, as he descended, he offered his arm, and I am thinking that he was just very conscious that the world is looking, and she totally ignored the arm and came down just on her own, using the guardrails of the plane to come down. So there is disconnection. So they need to be reconnected. Are you disconnected in your relationship? Do you want support to reconnect and get the love that you once have back? Let me know in the chat below.